Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us right here once again on the Silver Screen Dudes YouTube channel with me, Nico Luro, one half of the Silver Screen Dudes. I'm here today to talk to you about my Uncharted review. I went to see it last night at the cinema, opening night. Relatively large crowd, as I said in my YouTube short. But also, as I said in my YouTube short, this movie underwhelmed me greatly. And I'd just like to build on that statement as part of this review. Let me get the good stuff out the way first, because they say you should always start with the good. Holland is superb. I mean, I'm not saying anything revelatory here, but Tom Holland is superb as Nathan Drake. He's bulk too. He's not skinny, shredded Spider-Man. He's like big, beefy Nathan Drake now. He really embodies who this character is. He brings that charm that Nathan Drake is famous for. And he's definitely well suited for, the parkour and the high action thrills, just based only off of his Spider-Man performances, but also based off of his, minutia parkour history. Unfortunately, Tom Holland's charm, and he's got it in bundles. Let's be under no misgivings about that. Despite Tom Holland's infinite charm, he can't hold up this movie through no fault of his own. It's not like this movie failed and therefore the blame lies with Tom Holland. It's not that simple. Uncharted, the game, or the game franchise from PlayStation, is famous for its huge set pieces, big bombastic moments, treasure hunting, interesting characters, diverse interesting characters even. And while the movie tried to kind of almost treat the project, I believe, as a box-ticking procedure, whereby it's like, okay, we've got our big bombastic action set pieces, we've got our diverse array of characters here, we've got the charm that Nathan Drake is famous for, and we have big explosions. This is why it always is, well, as history has proven, it's difficult to turn a video game into a movie, because a video game relies on so much more than just obviously its simple, but its story. The story plays a huge part to a video game obviously being good, if it is, of course, a story-driven game. But with Uncharted, the big moments are obviously what stick with you, but between the big moments are the important parts. And that is that you need to have developed your characters in a way so that the edge of the seat moments really feel edge of the seat. You always know in the back of your mind that Nathan Drake is somehow going to get out of this, but you always have that scared moment of, is he going to fall off that ledge? And, Uncharted's unforgiving if you play on crushing. If you make a mistake, you die. So that element of the game is going to be very hard to bring to a movie. The climbing you can't really bring to a movie. The puzzling you can't really bring to a movie. I mean, you can in the sense that you can show it, but what you experience as a gamer solving a puzzle is going to be far superior of an emotion to what you experience as a moviegoer watching a character solve a puzzle. Therefore, it becomes very, very important that said puzzles are engaging and are fun. And that's where this movie fell flat. And it also becomes ever significantly more important that the character moments in the movie are built properly as they were in the game. You have really good character building and character arcs and betrayals and set pieces with the characters that adds to their character and the world that they're in. And that's, again, where the movie fell completely flat. All the movie ended up being is we've got this inherently charming British actor playing an iconic gaming character. That works. We've got our big bombastic moments. They kind of worked. They worked in the sense that the actual elements that I'm seeing are not things I've seen before. Flying pirate ship, for instance. You've seen that in the trailer. But the mechanisms with which the set pieces happen, swinging and falls, it's like, you're basically giving me a present I've seen already and just putting a pretty ribbon on it. I've kind of seen this all in different formats many times before. So that's, again, for me, the biggest failing of this movie, because what Uncharted did for gaming is it really did. It took gaming to the next level. And I was almost hoping that this movie would do that for action adventure movies, take it up a level. You know, we've got our Indiana Jones. That was a landmark moment in movies, and I wanted this. And it should have been, because people say that Uncharted the game is basically, you know, what Indiana Jones would have been. And this should have been the next coming of Indiana Jones. The story and characters are ripe for the picking. The set pieces, the ideation behind Uncharted was all there. And yet somehow it all felt a bit beige. It all felt a bit vanilla, a bit safe. Yeah, they've given you set pieces that you'll recognize from the games, but what was cool, again, this is for the game fans. They've given you moments that you'll recognize from the games, but it didn't all come together. The set pieces, if they don't have proper characters that are filling said set pieces, it just becomes visual noise. And for me, an Uncharted movie, which, as I've said, the games were genre defining, they were generation defining. For an Uncharted movie to be beige is almost worse than an Uncharted movie being bad. You know, I would have gone for one of the extremes. It's either great or it's either like, it's so bad, but it's good. You know, I would have, either of those would have been fine. The fact that it's so middle ground, the fact that it's so 5.5, 6 out of 10, or 5 out of 10 if you want to be pedantic, the fact that it's so vanilla and beige, it's like, that's almost the worst thing for an Uncharted film to have been. And for that reason, I left feeling very meh. And that was the one feeling I wanted to avoid. You know, I would have much rather come out No Time to Die-ish rage calling, like, how dare you do this to this franchise? Or, you know, full of elation and happiness. But neither happened. It was also meh. Why do this? Also, taking the game and the relation to how difficult the game is to translate to a movie completely aside, some of the decisions they make narratively with the villains just makes me wonder, like, okay, there were moments even, I don't want to give away spoilers, but there were genuine moments with the characters where I thought, oh shit, am I in a bad movie here? You all know I don't really rate my movies. I just kind of give an instant feedback and say, do I recommend you see it? Do I not? If I was to rate it, if I was to be pushed, exceptionally, I would say probably 5 out of 10, because it's so safe. It's not bad and it's not good. It's just there. And that's, it hurts me to say that. It so hurts me to say that about an Uncharted movie. And do I recommend you see this in the cinema? People are going to be like, well, sure, right? Because of the big set pieces. Not really, no. I think your time could be spent better than seeing this movie, and it breaks my heart to say that. Because, man, Spider-Man's my favorite comic book character. The guy who plays him is playing one of my favorite video game characters. Like, as far as being a geek boy is concerned here, this ticks all the boxes. But at the end of the day, despite the fact that it's a movie based on big action set pieces, I don't think they're worthy of you handing over your hard-earned money. I certainly don't think they're worthy of your time. There's definitely a sequel coming. They've set up the sequel, so if you do want to get on the Uncharted bandwagon, go check it out. I'd far rather suggest you, even if you've played it before, grab a copy of one of the old Uncharted games, put it in your machine, and have 2 hours of much better fun than you'll have with this movie. Hurts me to say that. I wanted to love this movie. Don't hate it, but I can't recommend it. So that's all from me. I'll see you guys next time. Be sure to join us this coming Tuesday, where we'll be talking with our brand new top 10 episode, where I believe we're going to be talking about child star movies. So check that one out. See you guys then.